Good day. I'm very pleased to be here at the 2021 Korea Maritime Week. My name is Duri Jung from Korea Maritime and Ocean University in the Division of Maritime Convergence Studies. The theme I wanted to present today is integration of subjects related to seafarers' human rights into the MET curriculum. The main researcher is actually my colleague, Professor Dr. Jin-Chul Choi, who is unfortunately unable to attend today and to present this very interesting topic. I only have been acting as a co-researcher. 그래서 이제부터 전체적인 이 논문은 영어로
From now
저희들이
on,
소개를 했고요. 저는 최진철 교수님과 함께 같이
Actually,
co-researching을 한 사람으로서
I am the
진철 교수님을
co-researcher of
대신해서
Professor
발표를
Choi Jin-chul.
하도록
I am
하겠습니다.
making the
첫
presentation
번째
on behalf of him.
교과목
First, I will explain about the background of course development, and I will introduce to you the course titled Personality and Seafarers' Human Rights. And we also worked on Personal Diversity Maturity Index assessment, as well as communication psychology. And lastly, I would like to explain about seafarers' key competence and implications. So first of all, background. So I would like to explain why we have applied the seafarers' human rights into MET. We need to first of all figure out the educational trends in South Korea. We can express the educational trends into 3W, 3S, and 3A. Before and after the Korean War, we have seen great changes in Korean education. During the Korean War period, Korea was under material poverty, so it was important to provide education whenever, wherever, to whoever. And before and after the industrialization, the education is expressed as 3S, same time, same place, same age, which is the existing educational trend. And now we are entering 3A, anytime, anywhere, and anyone. Now, regardless of time and space, anyone can receive education. This is the current educational trends in South Korea. So, Rolf Jensen, a futurist scholar, wrote in his Dream Society that during the agricultural period and industrialization and information society development periods, we have experienced a lot of changes, and now we are approaching the Dream Society. During industrialization era, products were the focus. Now in the Dream Society, emotion and experience are the key economic values. In 2004, Korea's per capita GDP reached $15,000. So the young people who were born after 2004 have totally different criteria of happiness and success compared to their parent generation. So young people these days, they work, they live by doing what they want to do rather than doing anything to make a living. Then why is character education so important? From 2010, Korea has experienced a lot of chaos and shocking incidents among students. Things that should never happen have taken place in Korea. For example, school violence, bullying, individualization, and bullying done by people with authority against people in vulnerable sector of our society. Because Korean society was actually surrounded by materialism. And in 2014, the Sewol ferry disaster took place. This was a very important incident that made us realize the importance of character education. So in 2015, Korea enacted the Character Education Promotion Act. We enacted this act because if students have weaknesses in terms of moral and spiritual quality, that may lead to further problems and chaos in the society. During the Sewol ferry accident, the captain just abandoned the ship and he also abandoned the passengers remaining in the ship. In the Korean society, we experienced large-scale, serious accidents caused by the lack of humanity and characters. This is why we have increased our attention to the importance of character education, which is to take individuals accountable for the problems and chaos happening in the society caused by the lack of character or humanity. So this is why we enacted the Character Education Promotion Act. Korea's Character Education Promotion Act is the world's first such law. As mentioned before, this Character Education Promotion Act is not a magic bullet to solve all the problems in our society. And character education is not just a mere subject or textbook. So having character education textbook only will not help us solve all those problems caused by the lack of moral values. And the teachers should be careful not to see the reoccurrence of the accidents like Sewol ferry. And these days, across the globe, we have seen increasing issues on seafarers' human rights. We have seen how important our seafarers are in the global supply network. So in order to properly control and manage equipment on board, what we need is not just the technical capabilities, but also crisis management capabilities. And we also need to improve the moral values of the seafarers. So 3 professors at the Korea Oceans and Maritime University argued that it is important to provide the character education and apply this to the maritime education. In these days, Korea has become a multicultural society, which means that we have many immigrants and LGBT people in our society. We also need to think about the seafarers' human rights and their human rights issues on board. So the 3 professors here decided to research these issues. Students need to learn about how they can fulfill their obligations and responsibilities in terms of promoting the human rights of seafarers. So we professors agreed that we need to foster the human rights sensitivity among our students. This is based on self-reflection and Korean traditional values of human rights. So this is the overview of the course titled Personality and Seafarers' Human Rights. Through globalization, exchanges of human and material resources have increased, and there has been an increase in the diversity among members of our society. And that has led to a lot of issues surrounding the conflicts among the members of our society. And in the shipping industry, there is an atmosphere that values work and life balance. So we have increasing amount of interest in the quality of work and life of seafarers. The purpose of this course is that based on the correct personality cultivated by the course, we need to help students clearly understand their responsibilities and obligations and act properly in various social contexts. Also, we want to raise students who can act as a global citizens based on the understanding of their occupation in the maritime field. Also, purpose of this course is also to help students correctly understand the human rights issues and wisely address human rights issues that may arise in their future workplace. So every week we gave homework assignments to the students and had them have group discussion and make presentations. As we operate this course, we focused on the interactive learning between instructors and students and theoretical background, definition, concept definition, as well as other practical sessions have been conducted. For example, students participated in role play, quiz game, and so on. The biggest goal of this course is to foster students' ability of understanding the importance of human rights and the ability to understand diversity in their working environment and to equip themselves with the personality and sensitivity necessary for dealing with human rights issues in various organizations in society. As mentioned before, I am just a co-researcher of this project, and Professor Choi Jin-chul is the main researcher. This is the book written by Professor Choi, titled Understanding Cultural Interactions on Shipboard, Life at Sea. So through this, we can seek ways to achieve coexistence and proper communication. In this book, the author called Ships, a small society on the sea. So the space we have on the ship is actually described as a small society. I would like to take an example. This is related to communication psychology. A German communication psychologist, Friedemann Schultz-von created this model. When human beings exchange messages, they send and receive messages through these four sides. All the comments we make include these four aspects, regardless of whether you intend to deliver these four aspects or not. If these four aspects do not have consistency with each other, then the receiver of the message may have misunderstanding of your message. In other words, the sender of the message has a certain context or meaning in his or her message. Let's take an example. Now here we have the second mate and third mate on board. The second mate and third mate on board actually want to do some discipline over a cadet, and they used some aggressive and violent words and languages to the cadet. But the cadet was an introverted person, and the cadet felt pressured and threatened by the comments of the second and third mate, and the cadet made a small mistake and caused the fire. So the second and third mate decided that we should never put him to work because of that mistake. So they make this kind of comments. The third mate says, "You bastard, I will kill you," to the cadet. And how did the cadet receive the message? The cadet literally understood that he wants to kill me. And in terms of self-revelation, the third deck officer said, "I want you to do things better on board." And this is the way the cadet understood this message. Cadet thought, he always hates everything I do. In terms of relationship, this third deck officer said, "I'm educating you, I'm admonishing you as your boss." But the cadet understood this message as, "I'm a useless cadet. I am a trainee with really serious problems." In terms of appeal, the third deck officer wanted to say, "Please do better on board." And this message was understood in this way by the cadet. If I keep doing this way, he will really kill me. So the cadet actually got off the ship. So we show this case example to the students and give them a homework. The students are encouraged to view the situation from an objective point of view. And in terms of self-revelation and appeal, students are encouraged to put themselves in the shoes of the other. They need to put themselves in the shoes of the third mate and in the shoes of the cadet. They do the role play and they change their roles during the role play. So they need to think about their own human rights as well as the others' human rights. Lastly, this is the seafarer's key competence and implications. Maritime sector of Korea is closely related to the EU. EU has key competencies for lifelong learning. It refers to the kind of knowledge, skills, and attitudes and qualities required for students, including the STEM skills and humanities skills and so on. So students need to be able to learn about sectors that do not belong to their own major. So key competencies for lifelong learning includes communication ability in their mother tongue. As we have seen from the scenario before, even in mother tongue, sometimes we don't have proper communication. And the key competencies for lifelong learning also includes mathematical competence, digital competence, and social and civic competence, as well as the ability of empathy. Key competencies for seafarers include these qualities. Of course, Korea provides advanced, high-level maritime education to students, but we need to reflect on ourselves. On the diagram, you see various maritime competencies, theoretical knowledge, and mathematical skills required. We need to do self-reflection whether we really provided enough education to foster students' social skills and cultural sensitivity and communication capabilities, not just the mathematical skills or technical knowledge. So, we need to help the young generation feel attracted to the seafaring career. To do this, we have to change the perception on seafarer career in the society. In Europe, seafarers or captains are also active in the political circle. They also created the scholarship foundation that happened in the 15th century or 16th century. So in Europe, there is the people in the society in Europe have high perception or positive perception on seafarer career. But in Korea, Korean people have kind of somewhat negative perception on the job of seafarers. Especially many young people just choose to have seafaring career as a way to avoid serving the military. But we need to make improvement. We need to promote positive image of seafarers as the key workforce in the global economy. And with COVID-19 pandemic, we came to realize the importance of seafarers in the global trade. We need to promote this kind of image. Regarding the importance of our seafarers on the global economy, we need to make further efforts, and we need to raise the self-esteem of seafarers as well. Basically, we need to train students and educate them not to do harm to others. For this goal, at colleges and universities, we need to provide character education and seafarers' human rights related education to students and help students generate various ideas and have the ability to solve various problems. For example, we need to design a curriculum based on humanities studies and apply this to the existing maritime education training. So, humanity-related topics need to be applied to the MET education, and we need to figure out how to effectively integrate the humanities studies into MET. It means that MET instructors need to collaborate with the scholars of humanities studies. So we need to move forward from machine-oriented education into human-oriented education. Thank you very much for your attention.